So, now we got this game. Yeah, this part goes actually a little bit weirdly, because I make like 72 mistakes, and I also show off some stuff. The first thing that you'll notice is that if you're on a Monday, you get to take the examination, which was horribly gimped since Duel Academy. And you don't really need to watch this here because I do pretty horrible. These questions are very specific, and I'm enough of a nerd in this game to know the answers to most of them. I personally liked how Duel Academy did it a lot better. In Duel Academy, what would happen is, I think about once every month, on one particular Friday, you'd take an examination, and it's a 3-part examination. First, you'd have a 10-question quiz, which usually wasn't that hard, and it was more visual than this. This is almost more like dual theory, like complete dual theory. And then the second part of that exam would be you take one of the 100 at random, one of the 100 or so at 5 different levels, so it's 20 each, and you unlock more levels as you go on, etc. One of them, and depending on how long you take, and is what grade you get on that, and then you duel a guy with a specific theme, like you have to use trap cards, or you have to use this or that. And he always had the same deck against you, which was a very oddly good deck. He had like Shinato of the Arc and all that. And if you got a high enough grade, you could go up a rank, and eventually you get to switch dorms, which was really freaking cool because you could go into different dorms and you duel different people when you're in different dorms. So it was both good and bad. And then this game gives you a 10-question quiz that if you score well enough on, you're allowed to get one title, a title that isn't really all that good, and continue on from there. However, since I just finished the Chaz event, this event is also unlocked. Well, not really. The examination was an event. You always do it. And here, I exit out, and there's some new cards available, so I make a deck. That's this. Originally, I forgot to record the deck I made, and it was actually pretty funny because then you just saw me randomly go to a person with a brand new different deck. And you know who that person is? Well, you're going to be seeing him in about 0.2 seconds because I accidentally get in a duel with him thinking, oh, I won't duel him, he'll just talk me away like he usually does. Nope, I get to duel Professor Sater. Sartir. I don't know how the crap you pronounce his name. He's French. Anyway. Yeah, Professor Sater's an interesting guy. You fought him, well, you could duel him in Duel Academy, but he had a really bizarre deck. I mean, really bizarre. He used all of the, like Atsu, Koatsu, Koitsu, I don't know how the crap you pronounce these names. And then in the series, he had a cooking deck with a lot of custom cards, which is something that's really always bugged me about this series. Sometimes it has way too many custom cards that you'll never be able to use. Heck, look at Season 4 alone. Season 4 alone has more custom cards than you'll ever see ever in the history of Duel Monsters. But enough about that. The main thing with the duel that I had with him was he top decked me pretty badly. I mean, I go on to top deck pretty much every duelist with this deck I have so far, but so far, no, this guy top decked me. And yes, I do have an Elemental Hero Fusion deck idea going. And I gave it a horrible name that you're going to be seeing next part, I think. Who knows? And yeah, look at all those trap cards. It reminds me of Professor Banner in Duel Academy. In Duel Academy, what would happen is Professor Banner has like easily a bajillion trap cards and flip monsters of it, as I've said before. And it was not very fun dueling him because you know. And the weird thing was that sometimes he never even used the trap cards he laid down. They were just there to scare you. And I really mean when I say scare you because in Duel Academy, as I've said in my first part, every single duelist has better cards than you. And that usually means all the good trap cards, which is really what the metagame is based around. Starting second generation. Well, I think they've just been based around trap cards in general. When you see the series, or whenever you're playing, or whenever you're seeing, or you're seeing any series, who am I kidding? It's only in the series that happens. You see that they, like, rarely use trap cards. Like, there was even one episode of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, Season 3, whenever there was that double duel going on with, the all the people in Tristan's body and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Joey fighting them. He even tried to use trap cards, not to use the trap card, but to try and get a secondary effect going on. And he made a really big deal. It's like, hey, there's a trap card. And as the Bridge series has done in their newest episode so far, wink wink, like, he just made it very obvious. In the video games and in real life, trap cards pretty much make or break the duelist. I mean, you can get along with it, only a semi-decent deck theme, and play well against others with good trap cards, than a really good deck theme with somebody that has, like, no trap cards. It's funny dueling other duels because in the series, most of the strategies revolved around having these really specific times where you would, really specific strategies that require really specific timing. And here I was contemplating whether or not to special summon a monster because I didn't have any way of summoning the monster without probably dying because of the crush card effect he has going on. And then I decided, I'll just make another Elements of Hero Fireman. And then I decided, nah, I'll wait a turn. Which was a bad idea because even if I did decide to do it, I would have just lost the card. So yeah, like I was saying, then the problem comes with me. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, sorry. Well, like I was saying about the strategies thing, once a strategy, the strategy is really specific, and even if you can pull it off, usually, if your opponent has any trap cards, they'll just stop it right there, and you're like, well, crap, my entire deck revolved around that, so what do I do now? And I'm really sad I didn't wait another turn, because I'm pretty sure I would have turned this duel around otherwise. Wise? No. So, yeah, now Satyr has a very weird deck in this game. What happened in this game was, while this does have a lot more cards than Duel Academy will ever have of the second generation, it doesn't have all the custom cards I was talking about before. So, a problem that arises is, what do you do? Because all of these are like anime parallels, at least the ones that were in the anime. So, what the heck do they do with the really custom decks? They have really weird themes going on, like Satyr, as I said before, he had a food deck, like literal potato card. In this game, he has a food deck, but only kinda. Like, you'll fight a battle steer, and that'll be like hamburger, and you'll find Mystic Tomato, and you'll find stuff that eats food. And yeah, I didn't really do much otherwise. And you start the next event, you finish up the event the next day by, after going to school, Crawler will announce, oh, by the way, the dual field tournament thingy is still today. And he's like, oh wait, I forgot Ben. He. I'll just have him duel someone that's much higher. Which doesn't make much sense, but I think that's what happened in the anime anyway. Again, I didn't watch all the original episodes too closely. Now here's where I make the mistake of trying to show off something and then ends up backfiring it at me, because I was planning to try and make use of the endless night you get if you choose to ignore this. You can just go in at any time. However, I was thinking I'd go in and show Crowler will usually announce, are you ready or not? And you can choose no so that you can leave. However, this event is a little bit different in that he just starts the duel immediately, and you just go to the field to start it at any time. Now this duel itself is actually pretty fun, because there was a lot of back and forth strategies going at each other. We both got good draws. There wasn't any kind of really cheap top decking or anything like that. Now, the anime episode of this showed off two new cards. It was being the VWXYZ Dragon Cannon Catapult, which you can't make in this game because you don't have the V Tiger W Jetpack cards. At least I think that's what they're called, I don't remember. And the interesting thing about that card, VWXYZ Dragon Cannon, is that I actually own a copy of it. And yeah, I got really lucky with one pack of second generation cards, and I got Elemental Hero, Steam Healer, and VWXYZ Dragon Cannon. So that means I have two semi-rare cards. Although I don't know what happened to Steam Healer. I'm still pretty sure I have VWXYZ Dragon Cannon Catapult. And that's a long name. Mouthful, isn't it? And what's funny was I didn't realize what Chaz was going for theme-wise until like the very end of the duel. What's going on is that this game shows how smart its deck design is, because this is kind of a dual themed deck. His monsters are all light monsters. He has a lot of cards that go in the way of light monsters, like you saw Luminous Spark. And he also has a Union deck based around the XYZ card series with all the XYZ fusions. That's actually pretty good. That's like something I would do. No, I'm not bragging. I'm saying that's really something I would do. I usually do it much later whenever you have a lot of good cards to work with, but for right now, there's not too much. So, you think I've talked enough? I don't think I've talked enough. Yeah, I was really scared here because I didn't want him to activate Morphing Jar a little bit too early and, ruin the strategy I was trying to go for. What's funny is that he ends up using another Luminous Spark, gets rid of my Skyscraper, and then summons X-Head Cannon, but what happens is he goes for Sparkman instead of trying to go for the face down card. So I barely avoid that, and I also get a good draw. So I can use my own A-Forces, take that Alexis Rhodes, use Skyscraper, get rid of Luminous Spark, flip Morphing Jar face up, It would be perfect if I could summon Meteor Dragon, but oh well. Get a good draw again. Place down Fusion Sage so that I can get a Polymerization at any time. Of course, what ends up happening is I accidentally activate Fusion Sage, but that's fine because all that means is my deck gets shuffled again and I can place a Polymerization down since I don't really need all 5 trap cards I have in my deck. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't have a lot of trap. Well, actually, I know why I don't have a lot of trap cards. Because of the I have so many spell cards that if I tried using all the trap cards that I wanted to use, what would happen is I don't have enough room for monsters without my deck being like 80 cards, which is the very arbitrary limit in this game. In Duel Academy, you are allowed to have up to 99 cards in your deck. In this game, you're only allowed to have up to 80. It was really jarring for me the first time I played this game, but I'm so used to it now. I'd probably go back to Duel Academy and it's like, wow, how could I ever make a good deck with this? And the problem with me having too many spell cards and trap cards is that I need at least some... I can't speak today. I need to be able to have good draws where I have monster cards instead of just spell and trap cards all the time. And also, I would like to have a good amount of monster cards for me to be able to just fuse all the cards. I usually have a fusionist deck where I have a lot of fusions that nobody uses, but since I had such a long interlude period because of how stupidly I spaced out the pack glitch, and also how what bad luck I got with the arrangements I got, with the cards I got in those packs. Like, I didn't get a lot of rare cards, or copies of cards that I would like to have a good deck theme going on. Like, I don't want to have one Guy the Fierce Knight in a deck where I try and focus more around having Guy the Dragon Knight fused, and all that good stuff. So that's why it took me so long to get a deck theme going instead of just having that interlude deck. And here's something that's really weird. He gets rid of Princess Surigai, and I'm thinking, I got this duel in the bag. And I also see Reinforcement of the Army. It's like, you know what, might as well have an ace up the sleeve. So I get the other Princess Surigai, place it face down, and then go attack the face down monster. Guess which face down monster that is? Magician of Faith. Which means he's able to get back a spell card of his desire from the graveyard. Guess what he gets back? The Shield Crash. You know what that means? He's gonna use Shield Crash to get rid of my Princess Surigai again, whenever it's really kind of redundant. And I'm stuck with having to wait another turn to finish him off. But it didn't end up working out badly because he used Shield Crash, and with that, he had no more monsters to summon, so he was wide open, and I knew the trap cards weren't any good because he didn't use them before, so why would he use them now? Of course, I would do that because I have higher intelligence than an AI, so that this guy thinks, oh, I can attack him. Nope, use the trap cards then, whenever it's really necessary. And finally got him down. That was a pretty good duel, in my opinion. And then I love these lines, because there's like, everybody is disowning Chaz, as well as really weird lines like, I gave him all my rare cards. It's like, I hate you now. It's like, I even lent him my best cards. Of course, I think this is about what happened in the series, and then Jaden's like, why can't we all just have fun? And Bastion just looked at you kind of creepily. It's a very weird menagerie of events, and with that, the day just ends.